Hello and welcome to HealthyHouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today we have a plant care video for this lovely plant, which is known as Red Congo Philodendron. It's one of many cultivars hybridized by philodendron growers in the last several years. The plant's botanical name is Philodendron tatei Congo Red, and it's commonly known as Rojo Philodendron, Congo Rojo, Red Congo. Those are just some of its names. That pretty much covers it. Now, Rojo means red in Spanish, and you will see a lot of really pretty red in this plant. So that's where it gets the name Red Congo. Now, this Philodendron Red Congo is a cross between Philodendron Imperial Red and Philodendron tatei. The plant is from South America, where it grows as an understory plant, meaning it grows on the jungle floors, rather than sprawl upward in a vine-like pattern like its cousin, the heartleaf philodendron. Congo Rojo grows from a single central stem, sprouting leaves on a continual basis from that stem, which produces a clumping type of growth habit. So this central stem here is where all of the new growth comes from. This is known as self-heading and causes the plant to grow upward and vertically. In this stunning variety, Red Congo, the leaves are a characteristic red burgundy color accented with a lot of green, as you can see. As the leaves mature, they turn various shades of red and green. The striking color pattern and upright growing pattern with these gorgeous, glossy, lush leaves makes them a colorful and attractive addition to the indoor garden. You can just see how pretty this plant really is. Because it is self-heading, it is self-supporting. So you don't need to generally have to support this plant. It will grow upright on its own. The stem keeps the plant upright, as I just mentioned, and it generally doesn't need extra support, as I also just mentioned, although it could sometimes if it gets particularly heavy. So do keep that in mind if you see it leaning. The plant is a slow to medium grower, but it eventually can reach up to 4 feet tall indoors. Now that would be on a pretty mature plant. This one, however, is fairly good sized already. It is close to 2 feet tall. The mature plants can flower with a pink, purple, red, green, or white, slightly fragrant flower, but it will rarely flower indoors. Other philodendron condo hybrids include Imperial Red, Black Cardinal, Moonlight, Red Emerald, and Autumn. So you may see other ones that look kind of like this one with different names. Well, there are different hybrids, as just mentioned. This plant and a lot of those other hybrids are still fairly rare, but they are becoming more common. Okay, so how to keep this beauty healthy and happy and looking great in your indoor garden. So the first thing is lighting. As I always say, remember that you are Mother or Father Nature for your houseplants. You want to simulate the growing conditions that your houseplants have out in nature. In the case of Red Congo Philodendron, though it is a hybrid, its parent plants grow on the floor of tropical rainforests, and as such, it gets dappled sunlight through the canopy of the trees up above. So that means you want to provide Red Congo with medium to bright indirect light inside, such as in front of an unobstructed northern or eastern window. Those are two really good places for this. They really do well, especially well in the eastern window with that morning sun, that soft morning sun. If you're going to put them near western or southern windows, you want to place them 3 to 5 feet from those windows. Direct sunlight from such windows can burn the foliage. At the same time, avoid really low light conditions, as this will cause the plant to stretch for light and become weak. And this can cause the roots to loosen at the soil level as the plant continues to lean to one side to try to get sufficient sunlight. Now, as I mentioned, when they get big, they may do that just kind of naturally because they're becoming heavy. But if you have a plant that you see reaching towards light, then that tells you it's not getting enough light. One thing you want to also keep in mind to help create a strong base to the plant is to rotate the plant a little bit at a time every time you water, and this will help ensure even growth all the way around the plant. Now, if you live in a dark home, the plant also does well under full spectrum lighting. So get the plant some lighting if it's not getting enough light so you can keep it nice and healthy and happy. Okay, the next thing is watering. Red Congo Philodendron is a little on the tricky side when it comes to watering. Many philodendrons are forgiving when they're over or underwatered, but this one can protest if you don't water enough or you water too much. Too much water will lead to root rot or leaf spotting diseases and or yellowing leaves and leaf drop. And too little will lead to slow plant growth and can also result in leaf loss and crispy leaf edges. So keep a good eye on the plant in terms of watering. Water when the top 2 inches of soil has dried out for medium to larger plants, and the top inch is dried out for small plants. You can test with your finger or use a moisture meter, which should read 3 when inserted into the top 2 inches, just the top 2 inches. Oh, just so you have a good, when you're using the moisture meter, you don't want to stick it all the way down, but you're just trying to test that first 2 inches. Always water with warm water, especially these jungle plants, which are used to nice warm bath water in their native habitat. Okay, so fertilizing. Feeding Red Congo Philodendron on a regular basis will result in lush, vibrant, shiny new growth. Fertilize with a well-balanced organic fertilizer monthly, spring through fall. If you live in a warm climate, so warm all year long kind of a climate, you can continue fertilizing in winter, but otherwise refrain from feeding your Red Congo in the winter months when the plant slows down or stops growth. Organic fertilizer mimics the conditions that the plant has on the jungle floors, so you want to always use organic fertilizers on the Red Congo, and that will keep the plant nice and healthy and happy, and you will avoid root dieback, which can be caused by chemical fertilizers. So look for an organic. Organics tend to have a low NPK ratio. That's the 3 numbers on the bag or the bottle. So something like a 322, 332, 444, 555. Generally under 10 or under in terms of those NPK numbers. And you want to fertilize them, as mentioned, monthly, spring through fall. Okay, humidity. Because Red Congo's parent plants are native to the tropical rainforest, the plant does best when the humidity is 50 to 60%. That's not always possible in all homes, however. Keep in mind, though, the lower humidity may result in brown leaf tips and sometimes just it could cause some leaf drop and just some general not looking all that happy kind of a look to it. So if you have a lower than, say, 40% or lower in your house, it's a good idea to add extra humidity. I do have a playlist on getting more humidity to your houseplants. I will put a link below for that and any other related videos that I mention in this video, and ones that would be helpful for you in growing the Red Congo. Okay, so temperature. Once again, since Red Congo likes tropical conditions, the temperature is also important. These plants don't like to get cold, and it doesn't get cold in tropical rainforests. They do best when growing in temperatures of 65 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, but they can also tolerate up to 95 degrees pretty well. So on the warmer side from them, put them in the warmest areas of your home. Also keep them away from drafty conditions such as open windows or doors that open a lot and vents. So heating and air conditioning vents, keep them away from those as well. Those will dry out the air around the Red Congo, and obviously if it's an air conditioning that's blowing cool air on it, it won't be fond of that either. Okay, so when to repot this beauty? You want to repot in rich, well-draining soil with added draining agents such as pumice or perlite. So the plant is comfortable being root bound, and it may not need repotting more than every 2 to 3 years depending on its growth. So it's not something you're going to need to pot up a lot. As mentioned, every 2 to 3 years, generally speaking, unless it's growing a lot faster. Unless it's growing really fast and outgrowing its pot. But follow my rule of 2/3 plant to 1/3 pot before repotting. If you put it in too big of a pot, you will end up with root rot with this plant. So make sure to follow that 2/3 plant, 1/3 pot. Once the top of the plant has outgrown 2/3 and maybe becomes 3/4, and then there's 1/4 pot, then it is time to repot the plant. You also see things like roots coming out of the drainage holes as well. Now, this plant also can develop aerial roots. You'll see here is an aerial root, like Monstera deliciosa produces aerial roots just like this plant. So those aerial roots, you can just let them grow. You don't need to bury them. They will also absorb moisture from the surrounding air for the plant, and they're pretty. They're a burgundy color, and they look. They give the plant an even more tropical look. Okay, so pruning. This plant grows leaves from the main stem, as was mentioned. So as the older leaves on the outside of the plant mature and then begin to finish up and get brown, yellow, crispy, cut them off near the base of the plant, being careful not to cut into the base of the plant. And that's pretty much all you need to do with them in terms of pruning. Okay, so pests and diseases. Red Congo may occasionally get mealybugs or scale. Treat it if it does get them with 91% isopropyl alcohol, and then let it sit for a half an hour or so, and then rinse the leaves really well. Leaf spotting and leaf edges that are brown are indicative of bacterial leaf diseases. So if you see this, generally it means that you are overwatering the plant. So check watering. Make sure you're not overwatering. Pull back on watering if you're seeing this signs of bacterial leaf disease. And remove the infected leaves and dispose of them. Don't keep them on the plant. And when you water, ensure that the leaves dry quickly after watering, so there's no moisture hanging around on the leaves, which can cause these bacterial leaf diseases. Also avoid nighttime watering, because if you do that, if you water at night, the moisture tends to stick around all night. So do it in the morning so that the water can go ahead and dry up before nighttime when it gets cooler, and as mentioned, the bacterial leaf disease can set in. Okay, so that is it for this beauty, how to keep Red Congo happy and healthy and looking great in your indoor garden. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.